It's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to another edition of the Timmy Flyersguy podcast. I'm your host, Timmy Flyersguy. Been hanging in there, been doing pretty good. Just been hanging in there, taking it easy, taking it one day at a time, and just not going so fast, and not going too fast. Things are going well right now. Things haven't been going well with the Flyers. Although they did win a game on Monday. They did win a game last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. But this episode is going to be called What If? And this episode is basically some what if scenarios for the Philadelphia Flyers. And there's a lot of what if scenarios for this team. Like first the Flyers drafted Peter Forsberg instead of Eric Lindros and kept him as a Flyer. What if Eric Lindros didn't get injured? Didn't get taken out of the game in 2000 when the Flyers faced off against the Devils? What if the Philadelphia Flyers won the Stanley Cup in 1997? What if they won the Stanley Cup in 2000? Hell, what if they won the Stanley Cup in 1985 and in 1987? What if they won the Cup? What if there was no offsides? What if there was no missed call in the Flyers-Islanders game in the 1980 playoffs? What if... hold on a second. What if Eric Lindros won a Stanley Cup with the Flyers? And also, what if Ray Emery didn't get hurt in 2009, 2010? And what if the Flyers were the ones that beat the Blacks? What if the Flyers were the team that won the Stanley Cup in 2010? Things would have been different. Things would have been really different for the Philadelphia Flyers. What if the pandemic never happened? The world would be a very different place. It would definitely be different. If the pandemic wouldn't have happened, the Philadelphia Flyers probably would have had a great playoff run. The fans would have been able to see a great playoff run for the Philadelphia Flyers if the pandemic had never happened. And what if the Philadelphia Phantoms never left Philly and they decided to renew their contract and stay in Philly? It would be entirely different for the Philadelphia. Things would be different. They would. And what if, one more what if, what if Ed Snyder beat cancer? What if Kelly Lindbergh didn't pass away? And what if Bernie Perrant was still here with us? Things would definitely be different. Things would definitely be different. Not only that, what if the Flyers won the Stanley Cup in 1976? Their third straight Stanley Cup. It would have been completely different for this city. Not only that, I have a lot of what ifs that go outside of hockey. Like, what if my dad was still here? What if my dad got through everything that he had gone through and survived it all? Things would have been different. My dad would have still been here, watching the Flyers with me. And also, what if my life didn't change in 2017? What if I never aspirated? What if I never aspirated? What if the incident of 2017, the incident in my life, one of the biggest incidents in my life that changed my life forever, what if that incident in 2017, what if that never happened? My life sure would have been different. It sure would have been different. And what if I wasn't born with Duchenne muscular dystrophy? What would my life be like if my Aunt Michelle would have still been around? I would have survived cancer. I also think, even though me and her don't really talk much anymore, I always wonder what life would have been like if Elena Koshka didn't go off the grid. If she was still on Twitter, or if we still talked. What would life be like in 2022? Instead of leaving, she stayed. That's a big what if. That really is a big what if. But I know that sometimes in life there's what if scenarios truly never came true. And I'm okay with it. Because in life, sometimes you don't get those what if moments. Sometimes you don't get those moments that you want, those moments that you expect. And that's the key about life. That's how funny life is. Sometimes when your plan picked out, life has a different plan for you. And sometimes when you're on a different route, things work out in a different sort of way, I guess. But as Flyers fans, as a fan base, I'm not the only one that has these what if scenarios for the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of fans do. A lot of us have those feelings. And a lot of us realize that sometimes we don't get the moments that we expect. Sometimes we get those unexpected moments. Like when Simone Gagne scored the overtime goal in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We didn't expect that. The timekeeper Frito scored in the multiple overtime game against the Penguins. We didn't expect that. There's also the moments. There's also those moments that were some of the toughest moments in Flyers history. A lot of us didn't expect that Kelly Lindbergh. We didn't expect that Kelly Lindbergh's life would have been tragically ended in a car accident. We didn't expect that Tim Kerr would be sidelined with a shoulder injury. And we didn't expect the air controls would have been taken out of the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. We didn't expect that. And that is why we have these what-if moments. I honestly think that if Kelly Lindbergh would have still been alive, we probably would have had at least 3 Stanley Cups, or 3 more Stanley Cups. The Flyers would have beaten the Oilers in 1987. Then we would have had a Stanley Cup. If Kelly Lindbergh was still around, we would have had a Stanley Cup in 1985, maybe 86, and maybe 87 as well. And if the Flyers would have won the Stanley Cup in 2016, we would have had a repeat here in Philadelphia. But sometimes things don't work out the way we want them to work out. And that's the thing about life. Sometimes life gives us some unexpected turns. Some turns that we don't expect. Good and bad. Good and bad. But honestly, it's good to have these what-if scenarios. Because they get us determined. They give us so much determination. Sometimes when things don't work out, life goes in a different direction. Sometimes good or bad. And that's just how it is sometimes. Life can be very, very cruel and unforgiving at times. But as humans, we just have to live our lives. We just have to take it one day at a time. We just have to take it easy. Right now, as a fan base, things are going not so good for the Flyers. Even though they won. Even though they won last night. This was a turn for the Flyers season that we didn't expect. We didn't expect it last season, and we didn't expect it in the season before that. Sometimes you have to keep believing. Not believing in ourselves, and believing in this team. Right now, it's all about the future of this hockey team. We have to keep hanging in there. And with this Flyer season, as fans, we're hanging in there. We're trying to stay positive. The Flyers are trying to do the same. They're just hanging in there, trying to be positive, and trying to find ways to win hockey games. It's been a tough month of January. But you know what they said? You know what they say? When the going gets tough, when the going gets tough, you just gotta hang in there. And that's all we can do. That's all we can do right now, is hang in there. That's all we can do. That's all we can do right now, is hang in there. I'm hanging in there, and Philly is hanging in there. That's all we can do right now, is hang in there. Guys, thank you for joining me here on this week's edition of the Timmy Flyersguy podcast. I just wanted to say how I felt about this whole thing. No matter how many what ifs we have, life always has a way of changing our plans. Some good, some for the better, some for the worse. That's just how life is sometimes. That's just how life is. It's not going to hold your hand, and it's not going to get cut you a break. You just have to take life the way it is. That's all I got to say about that. Before we end this video, I'd like to give a shout out to some beautiful ladies on Twitter that I follow. I'd like to give a shout out to the lovely I'd like to give a shout out to the lovely Gigi Dior, the lovely Liz Schuyler, the lovely Sienna Ray, the lovely Alicia Vera, the lovely Kendra West, the lovely Brandy Love, the lovely Tess Thompson, and the lovely Lena Lovings, and the lovely Liz Jordan, and also the lovely Violet Grandani as well. I love you all so much. It's been a pleasure getting to interact with all of you on social media. I love you all so much, and each and every one of you truly has my heart, always and forever. Love you all so much. Guys, thank you for joining me here on this podcast. I'll see you guys next time. Philly, hang in there, Philly. Hang in there, Philly. We'll get through this. We will get through this. I'll see you guys next time.